here. Who here has experience with MySQL? Good. Keep your hands up. Well, if you're relevant, if it's relevant, keep your hands up. Who here has more than a year of experience with MySQL? More than 3 years? More than 10 years? Still got a few hands up. That's impressive. Anyone got more than 35 years? Please welcome the creator of MySQL and MariaDB, Monty Widenius.
So, happy to be here, and good that there's so many MySQL users, because this is for those who are interested about MySQL future. So, but first, contact. Yes. So first introduce Maria, who is my youngest daughter, giving the name to the new generation of MySQL from my oldest daughter, me. So the reason I created MySQL was to keep the MySQL, or MariaDB, was to keep the MySQL talent together and to ensure that there will always be a guaranteed free version of MySQL. And also because I spent 35 years on the project, I just didn't want it to die. I also created the MariaDB Foundation to ensure that what happened to MySQL could never happen with MariaDB. In other words, the foundation is there to guarantee that there's always a way for a community to participate in the development. For example, with MySQL, nobody except Oracle has access to the MySQL repositories. With MariaDB, anybody can get access. So the people in the foundation, they ensure that if anybody in the community has a patch, we will help them to get them in. So in this sense, we are much more cooperative than almost any other open source project that actually people who are helping the community get that things in. We're also maintaining MariaDB to have it compatible with MySQL, to make it easy to move from MySQL to MariaDB. Actually, the question is, how many use MariaDB here? Okay, a few. So I hope this talk will get you to see the light in the sense that there's no reason whatsoever to use MySQL anymore. So, but we'll go on. So I just want to thank the foundation members who have sponsored the foundation for ensuring the future of MariaDB. There's lots of slides. I wanted to capture all the interesting features in MariaDB 10.1 and 10.2. The slides will be on either the database camp website or the meeting, so you can easily get access to those. So MariaDB is included in all distribution. In most of the distribution, we have replaced MySQL. So if you have are getting MySQL from distribution like SUSE or Red Hat, and just have an upgrade, you actually are not using MySQL anymore. You're already using MariaDB. So to ensure that the project is open source project alive, you usually see how active it is and how often are you doing releases. In MariaDB, we already at 7 releases, and we do 1 release every year, and we will have the 10.2, there's lots of exciting features done in December. We also have Galera, it's a multi-master mesh protocol which ensures high availability and really good read performance, part of MariaDB. And quickly different releases where MariaDB 5.1 was the first one, just to get the project started. 5.3, we worked with the community to get a lot of patches that was existing community, which never came into MySQL. We worked with the community and got those in. And the whole optimizer team for MySQL has moved to MariaDB. And actually, most of the core engineers who ever worked on MySQL is working on MariaDB nowadays. So they were working on the optimizer and ensures that MariaDB optimizer is the best of breed in the MySQL version. And then we did a merge with MySQL 5.5 to create MariaDB 5.5. What we usually try to do is that each version of MariaDB is close to 100% compatible with MySQL, so it's just like that to move from MySQL. So if you're using MySQL 5.5 or 5.6, you can move in seconds to MariaDB just by dropping MySQL and installing MariaDB. 10.1 is the one who's in most distributions, and I'm really happy to see that most of the distributions, as I said, have already this MySQL. So if you want to be in the future, you should go to MariaDB. 10.1 is the latest GA, and 10.2 is the one that we are working on. I will go through 10.1 and 10.2 more detail. But we were talking in the previous talk about the problem with OLAP and when will we have something that is can do both OLTP and OLAP. The solution is already existing. MariaDB column store, you don't have to wait. So the nice thing with MySQL and MariaDB has always been that we have decoupled storage and processing. And the column store is a massive distributed storage engine optimized for OLAP. I'm very happy for the previous speaker who already teach you what OLAP is. You can use the same MySQL interface to access petabytes of data, get answers in sub-seconds, superior to Hadoop just because you don't need to do any programming, you just use SQL. It compresses data, usually 1 to 5, so you need less data. And we released the first version of column store based on MariaDB just a couple of days ago. We already have some 90 really big companies trying it out. We also have a speeder storage engine that is a distributed storage engine, and we had there were some insinuation earlier today that SQL is taking over the world. I actually see the difference from MariaDB point of view. I see lots of upstarts using NoSQL, but when the data gets complex, they move to SQL. So NoSQL is the way to start nowadays. But one of the major things we do in MariaDB Corporation is replacing NoSQL instances when they grow too big, actually too complex, and then go into MariaDB. And my belief is that NoSQL will never take over the world, because every single company who's using NoSQL will also need a relational database. And I see MariaDB to be the bridge between those two. That doesn't mean that NoSQL doesn't have a place. It is not the solution. It will never be the dominant player. So for Big Spider, we have at the company been able to replace 100-node Cassandra clusters with a 7-node Spider. So this is a real existing engine. That's something I'm involved in myself, with helping the original developer getting into the latest MariaDB. So quickly want to touch the feedback plugin that if you move to MariaDB, or actually when you move to MariaDB, please put on the feedback plugin. This is not for salespeople or anybody to track what you're doing, but it helps us develop MariaDB better because we know the features that are using. So the next slide. For example, you can go into the feedback plugin and see which are the MariaDB versions, which feature other people are using to get a feeling that is this something that they also should be using. You can see trends. And here you can see that 10.0 is the most used version because that's in the most distributions. But 10.1 is picking up, and 10.2 is not really there because we just released it 5 days ago. So one of the major features of people who used MySQL in the past was of all open source databases. Actually, many of the closed source one also. We had excellent replication. One of the problems we had in MySQL time was that the replication didn't scale. We have fixed that in MariaDB by first in 10.0 adding parallel replication so that the slave can apply lots of things in parallel, which make the slave in most cases as fast as the master. fixed that in MariaDB, both in normal replication and with Galera. And in 10.1, actually not this slide, but anyway, 10.1 we also made this parallel application even faster by making it optimistic. So it will try to do more than it can. And I know that some companies have run that with 500 threads just to see that does this really work and can this really scale. And this will make the slave faster than master, which is the biggest problem in MySQL application in the MySQL world. In the MariaDB world, we don't have that problem anymore. The slaves will keep up. So we have lots of different things we have added in 10.1. This is some things about the optimization. We have removed lots of locks. We have worked with IBM with the Power 8 architecture. Anybody using Power 8 here? And that's one of the problems with Power 8. It's fantastic architecture, can really give you lots of scaling. We worked with IBM to get 60% speed up on Power 8. But unfortunately, it's not yet that used. But if you have a bottleneck with and you need a big server, at least you should look at Power 8. And this just shows that what happens when we work with different companies to improve on the hardware. We got 60% speed up between different releases. So we started lower there and now we're up there. So with the replication, so Galera is, if you look at in the MySQL and MariaDB world, the solution to higher availability. It's a multi-mesh network. Basically, a set of masters, you can connect to any of the masters and just do updates, and everything is active across the whole network, and it will take care of if some part of the network disappears by voting which should go. And we also fixed a lot of issues with the MySQL replication, so the replication in MariaDB is superior to anything that exists in MySQL. GIS has always been a sore point in MySQL world that people have, even those who like MySQL, they have moved to Postgres and other databases when they need to do geographical data. Now we are very close to the OpenGIS standard. We have a more featured set than, for example, Postgres with GIS. So we are very happy where we are coming with this. The other one wasn't important. So we added information schema, and I like the first on this slide because when you run with MySQL and you have a problem and you have noticed that some variable is wrongly set, now you can see exactly when this variable was set. Was it in configuration file, was it compiled in, or so on. And you also have no help for all variables within the database, so you don't have to go to the manual to just see what does this variable do. So we added set statement to set a variable for the duration of a query, which is very nice, for example, with the new timeout variable, so you can easily say that run this query for only 10 seconds, otherwise to give a time. We have compound statements for those who like scripts. We have fixed things in the SQL standard. So most of the things what we do in MariaDB is that we have worked with the community, both with email list, on conferences like this one, and also on the MariaDB C channel, and looking at those issues people have in the databases. And there are people who are active every day solving problems that people are telling us. So we are what we in open source called a practical database, or practical application. We are adopting to users. So many of those features, they look like small things, but they solve things. So this is the biggest difference between closed source commercial databases or applications and open source. You can get even the small things that irritates you. You can usually get that fixed within hours if you're just active and you talk to people and explain why these things need to be fixed. We have roles, which is something that lots of big companies have asked for. was working first with the pair and Google to add really strong encryption to their database. I felt this was very important because looking at BBC News the last few years, every month you see some big company losing all the passwords and data. And usually it's not only because the things are wrongly configured, but also that when you get access to the files, it's easy to copy everything. If they would run MariaDB with encryption, they wouldn't have this problem. So I hope that just this could be a good reason for you to switch to MariaDB. And this is much more complete than anything that Oracle offers to MySQL. It was kind of interesting. As soon as we announced this one, Oracle immediately said that, oh, we will have encryption also for MySQL. But we are the one who is the leaders and Oracle's followers. And my belief is that if you wouldn't do things like encryption, Oracle would never do things for MySQL. We're also working with, for this distribution to solving these problems. And this is mostly for making it easy to run MariaDB everywhere. So most people are using DB, the storage engine in MySQL. And we have people now working full-time also in MariaDB Corporation on DB and also on XDB to help Arcona with getting their storage engines to work properly. So these are the thing we did with encryption. And we also work with companies like Fusion.io. Anybody using Fusion.io here? Okay, so if you will use MariaDB, you can get both use atomic writes and get 2x more data on your expensive hardware. I don't think these are important, especially when people are waiting for lunch. But we're also doing things for the plugins to make it easier to adapt. But new storage engine and allow companies expand upon MariaDB services. I really like the Connect storage engine, which is an engine that both reads lots of different formats, including MongoDB JSON files. So you can very easily move those to MariaDB. But it also, in addition to supporting JSON, it also supports ODBC. And through ODBC, you can connect to any database that supports ODBC. So thanks to the Connect engine, you can do a join between Postgres, MariaDB, MySQL, and Oracle the same query, and easily move data between those, which is pretty cool. So in 10.2, we added Windows functions, and it's also something that the column store supported. So we want to ensure that what you have in the column store engine also can be used in other places. So the nice thing with column store, because it's just an engine in MariaDB, you can use the full power of MariaDB of the SQL layer to use that, but you can also combine those with other engines. So solving the problem with that was what I talked about in the previous talk, you would have all the transaction processing in DB, but then you would use proxy, for example, MaxScale, to just also put things into column store, and then you had the best of both worlds. Something that you can do really complex queries, and also get OLTP working. We are also working on common table expression that allows you to use any subquery as a trend of people wanting to move from SQL Server, Oracle, Sybase, and not only this, and new SQL layers to MariaDB. So we are working with lots of different companies to adding more and more compatibility. So 10.2 and 10.3 will be a lot about making it trivially, or at least as trivial as possible, to move from other places to MariaDB. And these are some part of some of those. I also worked on faster client connection to MariaDB. One of the big reasons people used MySQL in the beginning was it was designed for better. And that was because I used MySQL to solve my problem for my customers, and I wrote that in the web. So I did a lot of extra work and a search to make it really, really fast to connect. Because MySQL is probably at least on the relational databases, the fastest that you can just connect to the query and reconnect. And then that was why people in the web fall in love with MySQL originally. Now with MariaDB, I went through a lot of issues that people reported over the years and fixed everything in 10.2. So we are 85% faster than the default MariaDB, and if you do a default MariaDB really optimal configured, we are still 30% faster. For those who wonder about MySQL, we are about 50% faster than MySQL. But who cares about MySQL? Yeah, I'm there. So we're also going to add to 10.2. The previous things that was already done in 10.2. If you download alpha and use it, you can get those. In 10.2, before the GA, we will add full support for JSON type. We'll add functional indexes. The layer 4.0 that they solved some of the last performance issues that we were reporting. We will have that one. We're working with Google to get their patches in. We're also adding time machine as a feature, which is really cool thing that especially in the application setup, you have a master and then you have set a slave. Then you can configure one slave as a time machine. That's one command. And on that slave, you'll be able to roll back to any point in time over alter tables, over drop tables, anything. It's a really nice way that you can see, we dropped the database, should we really have dropped that? Or B, you had intrusion and you had forgot to put on encryption, what did this person actually access? The time machine will be able to allow you to do that. Anybody who have a need for that? Okay, one guy who's interested in security, nice to meet you. And it's not only MariaDB Corporation and MariaDB Foundation. There's lots of people involved. MariaDB is really an active project where we do one release every month for each of the active versions. We do one major release a year. We work with customers to show that what they have to do. And lots of customers also committing code. Last, a quick thanks to the companies who have helped us develop MariaDB. Okay, so we have the corporation, and who would have some 20 people working on the server, and who has doing a major part of the work that customers ask for. Foundation is working with the community. Google gave us patches for encryption and scrubbing and also pairing. We got the layer of code shift and then lots of users. Just to give them the credit of being part of this project. And all of you have also a chance to be part of that. Yeah. So how you can help? You can be either installing it, add the feedback, and then write blogs about how much better things are than before, and spread word about MariaDB. But then, so one of the major things that you need to know about MariaDB is that you're 100% compatible. You can just upgrade if you work. faster, more secure, and you can have lots of more features like encryption that can make your life easier. So, do I have time for questions or 1 minute? Okay.
Good question. How does the encryption affect the database performance?
Some 10%, because encryption happens by we encrypt everything on disk on block level. When we read it to the cache, it's decrypted. So it's only when you hit the disk either by write or read. And in a normal system, you have about 8% of the active data in cache. So the performance is quite small.
One of the performance bottleneck which MySQL has is the communication protocol between database server and application server.
Yeah.
So basically, in this protocol, all binary values like integer or real numbers or dates, they convert it to text.
Only if you use the normal protocol. If you use prepared statements, everything is in binary, and then it's done.
So if you do this on the, so that's how I also.
We support it. MariaDB is identical on MySQL on both the protocol level and on disk. That means that if you update your server to MariaDB, you can still use your old clients, no problem, and vice versa.
Would they still convert binaries to text?
Only if you use the normal MySQL query. If you use prepared statement to and bind the variables. The thing is that when we send the data, we don't know what the client node doesn't know the format of the data. So we say send by default everything by string. But if you tell that I want everything binary, you will get everything binary. And if you, of course, we also have the embedded client where everything is in internal structure, so there is no conversion or whatsoever. There's lots of applications on Linux who are using the embedded server.
That's all the time we have. Thank you so much, Monty Widenius. Great. All of our speakers are sticking around, so if you can find him in the audience during a break, feel free to come up and talk to him.